In the depths of your soul, beneath the layers of daily routine and earthly concerns, something ancient and powerful is beginning to awaken. It is not a feeling that can be explained through psychology, or a sensation that can be dismissed through logic. It is the eternal calling to the eternal, the divine reaching toward the divine spark that was placed within you at the moment of your conception, waiting for this precise moment in history to ignite into blazing purpose. The Creator of all existence has been orchestrating every detail of your life journey to bring you to this sacred intersection where heaven invades your personal reality. Every triumph has been preparation. Every trial has been purification. Every delay has been divine positioning for what is about to unfold in your life. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been forgotten in the master plan that is now beginning to reveal itself through supernatural circumstances and divine appointments. You are experiencing what the ancients called divine discontent, a holy dissatisfaction with anything less than God's perfect will for your existence. The restlessness you feel is not depression or anxiety. It is the Spirit of the living God stirring up the gift that is within you, awakening abilities that have been dormant, activating potential that has been sleeping, and calling forth the person you were always meant to become. The enemy of your soul has worked tirelessly to convince you that you are ordinary, average, insignificant in the grand scheme of eternity. But the truth that is now penetrating your consciousness is the opposite of everything he has whispered in moments of doubt and discouragement. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted with precision and purpose, designed with divine intention for a specific assignment that no one else in all of human history can fulfill. Consider the stars in the night sky, each one burning with nuclear fire, each one positioned with mathematical precision, each one serving a purpose in the cosmic order that scientists are still discovering. Yet the God who spoke each star into existence and calls them all by name declares that you are of more value than all the stellar bodies combined. You are not just another human being occupying space on planet Earth. You are a chosen vessel, a treasured possession, a beloved child with royal blood flowing through your spiritual veins. The stirring you feel is the beginning of your spiritual awakening to who you really are, not according to human labels or societal categories, but according to heaven's perspective on your identity and significance. You are awakening to the reality that you were born for such a time as this, positioned in this generation, placed in your specific circumstances, connected to your particular relationships, all as part of a divine strategy to accomplish something eternal through your temporary existence on Earth. Your past does not define your future unless you empower it to do so. The mistakes you have made are not disqualifications. They are qualifications, evidence of your need for grace and proof of grace's power to transform anyone who surrenders to its work. The failures you have experienced are not final verdicts. They are foundational lessons, teaching you humility, dependence on God, and compassion for others who are struggling with similar challenges. The pain you have endured was not meaningless suffering. It was meaningful preparation for the ministry that is emerging from your life. Your scars are not sources of shame. They are sources of strength, proof that you have survived what was meant to destroy you, evidence that the hand of God has preserved you for purposes that are greater than your past experiences. Every prayer you have prayed in desperation has been heard, recorded, and is now being answered in ways that will exceed your expectations and astound your understanding. Every tear you have shed in secret has been collected in heaven's bottles and is now being transformed into rivers of joy that will flow through your life to bring refreshment to others who are walking through their own valleys of weeping. The stirring of eternity within you is creating an insatiable hunger for more of God than you have ever experienced, more of His presence than you have ever known, more of His power than you have ever witnessed, more of His purpose than you have ever understood. This hunger cannot be satisfied by religious activities or spiritual disciplines, though these may be part of your journey. It can only be satisfied by intimate encounter with the living God, who's calling you into deeper relationship and higher purpose. You are standing at the threshold of the most significant season of your life, a season that will be marked by supernatural encounters, miraculous breakthroughs, divine appointments, and opportunities that will position you to impact your generation in ways you have never imagined. The stirring is the invitation. The question is whether you will respond with the surrender and abandon necessary to fully embrace what He is calling you into. This stirring is not just about you. It is about everyone whose life will be changed because you say yes to God's purposes. It is about the generations that will be blessed because you choose to walk in obedience to your calling. It is about the problems that will be solved, the lives that will be saved, the destinies that will be established because you allow the stirring of eternity to become the driving force of your existence. The time of preparation is ending. The time of manifestation is beginning. The stirring you feel is the announcement that heaven is about to move in your life in unprecedented ways. The spiritual awakening you are experiencing requires the systematic dismantling of every limitation that has defined the boundaries of your existence. These limitations were not placed upon your life by God. They were constructed by fear, reinforced by past failures, and maintained by a mindset that has accepted less than is best as normal. But normal is not God's standard for your life. Extraordinary is His expectation. Miraculous is His method. And impossible is His specialty. The breaking process begins in your mind, where battles are won or lost before they ever manifest in physical reality. Every thought that contradicts God's promises about your future must be taken captive and brought into obedience to the truth of His Word. Every imagination that limits your potential must be cast down and replaced with visions of what He says you can become. Every stronghold of negative thinking must be demolished and replaced with fortress-like faith in His unlimited ability to do the impossible through your surrendered life. Your past experiences have created invisible barriers in your thinking, mental fences that have kept you contained within a small fraction of your actual potential. These mental limitations are more restrictive than any physical prison because they operate at the level of belief, and what you believe about yourself and your possibilities determines what you will attempt, what you will receive, and what you will become. But God is releasing divine revelation that is shattering these mental barriers like glass. You are beginning to see yourself as He sees you, to understand your value from His perspective, to recognize your potential through His eyes. This new vision of yourself is not pride, it is truth. It is not arrogance, it is revelation. It is not self-promotion. It is God-given recognition of who He created you to be and what He has called you to do. The financial limitations that have constrained your life are being broken by supernatural provision that flows from heaven's unlimited resources. The God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, who holds the silver and gold in His hands, who controls the wealth of nations, is about to demonstrate His ability to provide for every need related to your calling and assignment. Money will no longer be the determining factor in your decisions. God's will shall be the only consideration, and He will provide whatever resources are required to accomplish His purposes through your life. Relational limitations that have isolated you, hurt you, and hindered your progress are being broken by divine connections that will support your calling, strengthen your faith, and accelerate your advancement into your destiny. God is bringing people into your life who will see your potential before you fully see it yourself, who will open doors that you could never open on your own, who will provide wisdom and counsel that will save you from costly mistakes. The educational limitations that have made you feel unqualified for certain opportunities are being broken by supernatural wisdom that transcends formal training and academic credentials. God is about to download understanding directly into your spirit, give you insights that surpass university education, and provide you with knowledge that cannot be learned in classrooms. He will make you wise beyond your years and knowledgeable beyond your formal preparation. Geographic limitations that have kept you confined to familiar territories are being broken as God opens doors in places you have never been, creates opportunities in locations you have never considered, and establishes connections in regions that were previously beyond your reach. Your sphere of influence is about to expand exponentially, not through your own networking or self-promotion, but through divine orchestration of circumstances and relationships. Physical limitations that have restricted your energy, your health, or your capabilities are being broken by healing power that flows from the throne of God. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is quickening your mortal body, restoring what has been damaged, renewing what has been depleted, and strengthening what has been weak. Your physical vitality is being restored for the assignment that requires endurance, strength, and sustained energy. Generational limitations that have been passed down through your family line are being broken as you become a generational bridge between the curses of the past and the blessings of the future. Cycles of poverty, dysfunction, addiction, and failure that have plagued previous generations are ending with you. You are becoming the starting point for a new legacy. the beginning of a blessed lineage, the foundation upon which future generations will build their success. Time limitations that have made you feel like it is too late to fulfill your dreams are being broken by divine acceleration that compresses years into months, months into weeks, and weeks into days. God is speeding up the process, fast-tracking your advancement, and making up for time that you feel has been lost. Age is becoming irrelevant. Timing is being supernaturally adjusted, and delays are being transformed into divine preparation that actually positions you for greater success than if things had happened according to your original timeline. The breaking of limitations is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process as you continue to grow in faith, expand in vision, and increase in your capacity to receive and steward what God desires to give you. Each limitation that is broken creates space for new levels of blessing, new dimensions of authority, and new territories of influence. As these limitations are broken, you must guard against the temptation to rebuild them through fear, doubt, or the opinions of others who cannot see what God is doing in your life. The enemy will try to convince you to return to the familiar comfort of your former restrictions, but you must continue to walk in the freedom that comes from believing God's unlimited promises about your unlimited potential. The breaking of limitations in your life will inspire others to believe that their limitations can also be broken, creating a ripple effect of breakthrough that extends far beyond your personal circumstances to impact families, communities, and even nations. Vision is the currency of the kingdom of God, the spiritual substance that bridges the gap between what is and what can be, the divine blueprint that transforms impossible dreams into inevitable realities. The vision that God is now imparting to you is not merely a good idea or a noble aspiration. It is a prophetic glimpse into your future that carries within itself the power to create what it reveals. This vision comes to you not as a result of your own planning or imagination, but as a direct download from the mind of God who sees the end from the beginning and works all things according to the counsel of His own will. What you are beginning to see in your spirit is not wishful thinking. It is prophetic revelation, a preview of coming attractions, a foretaste of the reality that God is preparing to manifest through your obedience and faith. The vision being imparted to you is multidimensional, encompassing not just what you will do, but who you will become, not just what you will achieve, but how you will impact others, not just what you will build, but what legacy you will leave behind for generations to come. This vision connects your temporary existence on earth with eternal purposes that will outlive your physical life and continue producing fruit long after you have graduated to heaven. Within this vision, you can see yourself operating at levels of authority and influence that seem impossible from your current vantage point. You see yourself speaking to audiences you have never addressed, making decisions that affect thousands of people, stewarding resources that exceed your current comprehension, and carrying spiritual authority that opens doors no human being could open. The vision includes the restoration of things that have been broken in your family, your community, and your sphere of influence. You see cycles of dysfunction being interrupted, patterns of limitation being shattered, and new precedents being established that will benefit not just this generation, but multiple generations to come. You are not just receiving personal breakthrough. You are becoming generational breakthrough for everyone connected to your bloodline and spiritual legacy. You see yourself as a solution to problems that have persisted for decades, an answer to prayers that have been prayed by people you have never met, a key that unlocks doors that have remained sealed until your appointed time of manifestation. The vision reveals that your life is not random or accidental, but strategically positioned and purposefully designed to address specific needs in your generation. The businesses you will build, the organizations you will lead, the movements you will start, the books you will write, the messages you will deliver, the people you will mentor, all of these are shown to you in the vision, not as possibilities, but as certainties, not as hopes, but as promises, not as dreams, but as divine appointments that are already scheduled in heaven's timeline. The vision also reveals the opposition you will face, the challenges you will overcome, and the character development that will be required to sustain the level of responsibility and authority you are being called to carry. You see that every test has been designed to prepare you for the level of success you are destined to experience. Every trial has been permitted to develop the strength necessary for the weight of glory that will rest upon your life. Within the vision, you understand that your calling is not just about personal fulfillment, but about kingdom advancement. Not just about your success, but about God's glory being revealed through your life to demonstrate His power to a watching world. You see that you are being positioned as a living testimony of what God can do through an ordinary person who makes themselves fully available to His extraordinary purposes. The financial provision shown in the vision is not for luxury or self-indulgence, but for kingdom advancement. Not for hoarding, but for sowing. Not for personal comfort, but for advancing His purposes through your generosity and stewardship. You see resources flowing through your life like a river, not pooling like a lake, bringing blessing to everyone touched by the stream of your obedience. The relationships revealed in the vision are not casual connections, but divine assignments. People who will serve alongside you in accomplishing the purposes of God for this generation. You see yourself surrounded by individuals who share your passion for His glory, your commitment to His purposes, and your willingness to sacrifice personal comfort for eternal impact. The vision includes specific locations where you will serve, platforms from which you will influence others, and territories where your authority will be recognized and respected. You see doors opening that have been closed to others, favor being extended that cannot be earned through human effort, and opportunities being created that exist only because of your obedience to follow where He leads. But perhaps most importantly, the vision reveals the person you are becoming in the process of fulfilling your calling. Someone whose character has been refined by the fire of testing, whose faith has been strengthened by overcoming impossible obstacles, whose love has been purified through serving others sacrificially, and whose wisdom has been developed through intimate relationship with God Himself. This vision is not meant to overwhelm you with its magnitude, but to inspire you with its possibility. Not to create pressure, but to provide direction. Not to induce fear, but to build faith that the same God who has shown you the vision has already made provision for everything required to fulfill it completely. The impartation of vision is accompanied by the impartation of faith to believe it, grace to walk in it, wisdom to steward it, and power to accomplish it. You are not receiving this revelation as a spectator, but as a participant, not as an observer, but as an instrument through which these purposes will be fulfilled. The transformation of your inner being and the impartation of divine vision have been preparing you for this moment when heaven releases supernatural power through your life that will astonish both you and everyone who witnesses its manifestation. This power is not spiritual energy that you generate through religious discipline or mystical practices. It is the very power of Almighty God channeled through your surrendered humanity to accomplish His purposes on earth. The same power that spoke the universe into existence, that parted the Red Sea for the children of Israel, that raised Jesus from the dead, that transformed cowardly disciples into bold apostles who turned the world upside down. This identical power is now being made available to you for the advancement of God's kingdom through your unique calling and assignment. This supernatural power operates through you, not because of your righteousness, but because of His righteousness that has been imparted to you through faith. It flows through you, not because of your perfection, but because of His perfection that covers your imperfections. It works through you, not because of your ability, but because of His ability that is made perfect in your weakness and magnified through your dependence upon Him. The power manifests in multiple dimensions simultaneously. There is power over circumstances that have held you captive, enabling you to command situations to align with God's will rather than being victimized by seemingly impossible conditions. There is power over obstacles that have blocked your progress, giving you authority to speak to mountains and command them to be removed and cast into the sea. You will experience power in your words that goes far beyond natural eloquence or persuasive ability. When you speak what God has given you to say, your words will carry creative force that brings into existence things that did not previously exist. Your declarations will reshape reality according to divine will. Your prayers will move heaven and earth to produce supernatural results that cannot be explained through natural means. The power flows through your hands as you lay them on the sick and see immediate healing, as you touch broken situations and watch restoration unfold, as you place your hands on your own life and family and witness transformation that defies medical diagnosis and psychological explanation. Your touch becomes a point of contact between the natural and supernatural realms. Financial miracles will become a regular occurrence as this power breaks the limitations of natural economics and creates provision through means that bypass traditional sources. Resources will appear when they are needed. Opportunities will present themselves at precisely the right moments. And supernatural favor will cause people to open doors and extend opportunities that have nothing to do with your qualifications or connections. The power creates divine appointments that connect you with exactly the right people at exactly the right times for exactly the right purposes. Conversations that should be impossible to arrange will happen spontaneously. Meetings that should require months of planning will occur through coincidental encounters. Relationships that should take years to develop will mature instantly through supernatural chemistry. You will witness power over time itself, as God accelerates processes that normally take years, compressing them into months or even weeks. Projects that should require extensive development will come together with supernatural speed. Healing that should take months will happen in days. Relationships that should require long periods of trust building will reach deep intimacy quickly. The power extends to your thought life, giving you supernatural wisdom for complex decisions, divine strategies for seemingly impossible challenges, and creative solutions that would never occur to you through natural reasoning. Your mind becomes a receiving station for heaven's intelligence, downloading understanding that surpasses your education and experience. Dreams and visions will become regular experiences as the power creates open communication channels between heaven and your spirit. God will speak to you through supernatural revelation, showing you future events, warning you of potential dangers, and providing specific instructions for navigating complex situations. There will be power in your presence that creates an atmosphere of faith wherever you go. People will experience peace in your presence that they cannot explain. Healing will occur simply because you enter a room. Supernatural joy will break out among those who spend time with you. The glory of God will become tangible through your life. The power will work through you to break generational curses that have operated in your family line for decades or even centuries. Patterns of failure, poverty, sickness, and dysfunction will be permanently interrupted. New precedents of blessing, success, health, and prosperity will be established that will benefit your children and your children's children. But the greatest manifestation of this power will be seen in the transformation of lives. People who encounter you will experience radical change, not because of your charisma or natural ability, but because the power of God flowing through your life creates an environment where miracles are normal, where impossible things become possible, where hopeless situations become opportunities for divine demonstration. This power comes with tremendous responsibility. You will be accountable for how you steward it, where you direct it, and what purposes you allow it to serve. It must always be used for God's glory, not your own elevation. It must always serve others, not just benefit yourself. It must always advance His kingdom, not build your own empire. The release of supernatural power through your life will create ripple effects that extend far beyond your immediate sphere of influence, touching lives you will never meet, solving problems you will never see, and creating breakthroughs that will benefit generations you will never know. You have arrived at the culmination of everything that has been building in your life since the moment you first drew breath. The full manifestation, your eternal destiny, the complete revelation of why you were born for such a time as this, the total fulfillment of purposes that were conceived in the heart of God before the foundation of the world and are now being accomplished through your surrendered obedience to His divine will. Your destiny is not merely personal achievement or individual success. It is cosmic in its scope and eternal in its impact. You have been chosen to serve as a bridge between heaven and earth, a conduit through which the kingdom of God manifests in your generation. A living demonstration of what happens when an ordinary human being allows an extraordinary God to work through them without limitation or reservation. The fulfillment of your destiny involves the restoration of divine order in every area of your influence. Where there has been chaos, you bring peace. Where there has been poverty, you establish prosperity. Where there has been sickness, you release healing. Where there has been despair, you impart hope. Where there has been division, you create unity. You become an agent of heaven's will being done on earth as it is in heaven. Your very existence becomes a threat to the kingdom of darkness and an encouragement to the kingdom of light. Hell trembles at your prayers because they carry the authority of one who has learned to partner with God effectively. Heaven rejoices at your steps because they advance purposes that have been planned for millennia. Angels are assigned to assist your mission because it aligns perfectly with the will of the Father. The destiny you are walking into was not chosen arbitrarily. but was specifically designed to fit your unique combination of gifts, experiences, character traits, and calling. No one else in all of human history could fulfill this particular assignment. Your personality, your background, your struggles, your victories, your relationships, your opportunities, everything about you has been sovereignly orchestrated to position you for this specific role in God's eternal plan. The influence you will wield extends far beyond your natural lifespan. The words you speak will be quoted by people you never meet. The precedents you establish will be followed by generations you never know. The doors you open will provide access for multitudes who come after you. The foundations you lay will support structures that will stand long after you have graduated to heaven. Your destiny includes the establishment of something that has never existed before in the history of mankind, a unique expression of God's love, power, and purpose that can only be manifested through your specific life and calling. This is not arrogance. This is the beautiful truth about how God works through individuals to accomplish His corporate purposes for humanity. The financial resources that flow through your life during the fulfillment of your destiny will be astronomical by any earthly standard, not for personal indulgence, but for kingdom advancement. You will steward wealth that funds movements, builds institutions, supports thousands of families, and advances the gospel in ways that impact nations. Money will become merely a tool in your hands for accomplishing God's purposes, not an end in itself. The people who come under your influence will themselves go on to influence others, creating exponential multiplication of your impact across the globe. The principles you teach will be taught by others to people you will never meet. The lives you transform will go on to transform other lives, creating ripple effects that extend throughout eternity. Your destiny includes the supernatural extension of your natural lifespan and the supernatural enhancement of your natural abilities so that you can accomplish more in your time on earth than would normally be possible for any human being. Age will become irrelevant as God renews your strength like the eagles. Physical limitations will be transcended as His power works through your mortal frame. The opposition to your destiny will intensify as its fulfillment approaches, but the victory is already assured. Every weapon formed against you will be proven ineffective. Every tongue that rises against you in judgment will be condemned. Every scheme of the enemy to derail your progress will ultimately serve to advance your purposes. As God causes all things to work together for your good, the legacy you leave behind will inspire stories told around dinner tables for generations. Your great-great-grandchildren will benefit from decisions you make today. Your name will be mentioned with honor in places you have never been by people you have never met who have been blessed by the overflow of your obedience. The glorious aspect of your fulfilled destiny is the intimate relationship with God that is developed through the process. You have moved from servant to friend, from follower to partner, from child to heir, from vessel to beloved. The one who called you has become the delight of your heart, the source of your strength, the object of your affection, and the reward for your faithfulness. When you finally stand before His throne to give account of your stewardship, you will hear the words that make every sacrifice worthwhile. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your Master's happiness. Your destiny is not just what you will do, it is who you will become in the process of doing it. You are being conformed to the image of His Son, transformed from glory to glory by the Spirit of the Lord, perfected through the things you suffer, and prepared for an eternal weight of glory that far exceeds any temporary challenges you have endured. The time of preparation is complete. The season of manifestation has arrived. Your eternal destiny is not approaching. It is here, now, in this moment, waiting for your final yes to everything He has prepared for you. The question is not whether God is ready to fulfill your destiny. The question is whether you are ready to embrace its demands and walk in its fullness. This is your Kairos moment, your appointed time, your divine intersection between preparation and manifestation. Everything in your life has led to this point where you step fully into the eternal destiny that bears your name and has been waiting for your arrival since before time began.